After the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Houston Texans this Sunday, we could say at the very best that Chiefs Kingdom felt uneasy after the win. Whether you want to say they still had questions about the offense, the defense, or what we're going to focus on today, the special teams, it was heard all over social media, in particular about Harrison Butker. Well, former Chiefs punter Dustin Colquitt had a few words to say and may have slammed our current punter right now, so that means we got kicking drama? So of course we're going to discuss and talk about it. But before we get into that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, as I'm going to keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chief related that you do not want to miss out on. And without further ado, let's have some fun. As we all know, the Kansas City Chiefs, even though they are a great team this year, have plenty of question marks. And one in full that's been throughout the whole year has been special teams, whether it has been injuries, whether it has been punt returning. Anything you name, it's something that we're not used to seeing on the special teams, definitely coached by Dave Tobes, struggle throughout the year, and it's just been surprising to all of us. And one in particular has been Harrison Butker. And the million-dollar question with Harrison Butker is he healthy? Because he has not looked like himself throughout the year. He has missed 5 field goals throughout the year, and he hasn't even played a full season. And that led people to believe, well, maybe he's not himself. Maybe he's trying to overcome an injury. And then you got the other half of Chiefs Kingdom who is just like, let's get rid of him. He is washed. He will never be the kicker he once was. It's time to move on. And that's what happens when Chiefs Kingdom, we're already used to seeing him miss extra points and they get tired of it. Now he's missing field goals and clutch field goals too. And that's something Chiefs Kingdom might not be too familiar with. Yes, we've come to terms with Harrison Butker where, hey, he might miss extra point here and there. We've come to terms with that. But now he's missing game-winning field goals, and that's something we're not used to at all, because he would drill them from 50. Shit, he even drilled it from 60. He was definitely guaranteed from long range. This weekend, that wasn't the case, and that rose a lot of eyebrows, and it was calling for his head. And social media went crazy with that. And in particular, it caught the eye of our former punter, Dustin Colquitt, who said, hey, lay off the guy. Special teams is bigger than what we all make it out to be. And when you focus on the special teams, yes, it is a whole unit and all, but it's basically focused on 3 people, which will be the long snapper, the holder, and the kicker. And Dustin Colquitt, he had a few words for Tommy Townsend, basically saying Tommy Townsend isn't holding Harrison Butker's balls correctly. Yeah, that raised a few eyebrows. But in all seriousness, he does have a point. And the biggest point is that it's ball placement. And we all hear it now and then. It's like we all mostly focus on the kicker. All we see is the kicker, we see the kick, and we see the goalpost. And if they make it, and if they don't. And that's all. And if they don't, it's like, get him off the field. But there's a bigger, like, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. I wanted to go for a big word, but I can't hear. But there's a bigger part to all of this than basically a ball going through the uprights. We know the kicker can't kick the laces. Whether it leans a certain way can affect the kick. And Dustin Colquitt, he showed the 2 kicks that he missed. One, the laces weren't faced the same direction, and then the other was the ball was tilted, I think, too high. And he said that can cause for misses, and not a lot of people focus on Tommy Townsend. He said when, yeah, he's a great punter. He's actually an excellent punter, but when it comes to his holding, it's average. And whoa, we got shots fired there, because that's the last thing you don't expect to see kicking drama any day of the week, let alone a former punter on the team who is, I don't want to say a legend, but he's definitely well known. You know what? I don't want to slight Dustin Colquitt either, because he's been with this team through very, very rough ages and been through everything, and he definitely needs to have his recognition. So his voice definitely needs to be heard, but you just don't expect him to come into this situation and basically jump in, defend your boy Harrison Butker, and then you may say it's not, but it seemed like he kind of called out Tommy Townsend on his ball placement, and then that just stirred up more and more, because then Tommy Townsend took to social media and he released a tweet saying, hey, at the end of the day, Coach Reed, he let us know whatever happens outside of this locker room, nobody knows, and they're basically stupid. Again, that shots fired back to Dustin Colquitt, because he definitely saw the tweet. He definitely made news of it, but also, too, I felt kind of uneasy about that as well, because Tommy Townsend there didn't really hold any accountability whatsoever with that tweet, which is kind of, I don't want to say upsetting, but it's basically, I don't want to, maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I feel like he kind of threw Harrison Butker under like, I'm doing my job. Like, I'm holding them. They're looking good, whether what you see on photo or what you don't, but I'm doing my job. What Harrison's doing, that's neither here nor there. And that's like, I don't want to say hold all the blame, but it's like, hey, yeah, we're in practice. I need to excel in certain things and get the ball placement right, and we will get it corrected moving forward to make sure the team is better in special teams. But nah, he decided to go a whole different route. And even if you wanted to go that route too, where you kind of wanted to acknowledge Dustin Colquitt and then, but not really, it's like, be quiet. You can see it and move forward. But at the end of the day, players, they do have their voices. They want to be heard. I get that as well. And then a lot of people are saying, well, what does Dustin Colquitt know? Like, what doesn't he know? He's been in the league for over 20 years. He, if anyone, knows how anything to do with ball placement, anything to do with special teams whatsoever. And yeah, he could teach me something because I know nothing to do with the kicking game whatsoever. So if he tells me the laces need to be facing a certain way and they weren't on a kick, I'm going to believe him because that's what he was really good at through the whole totality of his career. And so, yeah, it's not like some average Joe coming off. It's not like me. I'm going to call myself an average Joe. It's not like me coming out there and be like, oh, well, Tommy Townsend needs to hold the ball a certain way or Butker's going to miss all these kicks. No, this is the guy who's a professional, so there's no reason to slight him whatsoever. And for people saying he's bitter, I don't get that either. It's like, I understand, I think when Tommy Townsend was a rookie, I think they were both on the roster at the same time. And maybe there's something there, but at the end of the day, what was that, like 3 or 4 years ago? I don't think Dustin Colquitt's holding on to something like that. I think at the end of the day, he was just trying to help and back up a kicker who he was very familiar with too in the Kansas City Chiefs and basically have his back. Now, did it come off as kind of pushing Tommy Townsend on the bus? Yeah, it did. But also too, it's something that us and fans, we need to focus on as well before we start calling for people's heads and people's jobs. Again, it's not as simple as seeing a ball go through the uprights or going wide right or going wide left. And also too, I understand from a fan's perspective, there's not a stat out there that says, how many balls did Tommy Townsend hold where the laces were facing in the incorrect direction? That's something we don't focus on because it's something that's not talked about. So I understand that completely as well. But we need to realize special teams is literally a full unit. The same as we focus on the offense and defense. It's like if the O-line doesn't block for Patrick Mahomes, he's not going to be the same quarterback. Well, maybe that's a wrong analogy because Mahomes, he'll run out and still throw 60 yards downfield. So let's go to the defense. Let's say if the D-line doesn't cause pressure, that means the secondary is going to struggle and allow completions. I think we deal with that anyway. So you guys know exactly where I'm going with that. It's all a full unit and everything needs to take it to succeed. And that's the same thing with special teams as well. And maybe we need to start holding people accountable. I'm not saying it's something we can look at, but instead of just jumping on social media and say, hey, get rid of Butker because he's missing kicks here and there, maybe there's more to it. And that's what I'm trying to discuss here today is because I'm in the same boat with you. When it was the Texans and he missed the extra point and then he missed the field goal, I'm just like, bro, what are we doing? Like, is this the same kicker? I don't want to believe it, but is he washed? Like, come on, what's going on? Is he dealing with injuries? None of this makes sense. Nothing. Like, this is not the same kicker of old. Like, there's no way he could have just got out of his prime in 1 year. Was that injury this bad? But then you start seeing what Dustin Colquitt is talking about and how that can affect the kicker. And it's just like, well, how often has this been happening? And if so, do we need to put like another placeholder out there? Because be real, anyone who, I mean, I'm just going off of Madden basically, but I think you see it in the league too. You can see backup quarterbacks being placeholders. Anyone who knows how to hold a snap and get it down correctly, they can be a placeholder. I don't know if the Kansas City Chiefs have tried that or if they have anyone else on the roster that can succeed at that. But if that's really the issue to where Harrison Butker is having his worst year, and he hasn't even played a full year either. In his whole career, he's missed 4 or 5 kicks, and now this year he's missed 5 kicks? That's ridiculous. I didn't include extra points in that stat, field goals. And the fact that this is his worst year lets you know there might be more to it. Yes, Tommy Townsend has been excellent in punts this year. He's been drilling punts like crazy. You could tell he's took his game to the next level. But some things we don't focus on, maybe it means he's not doing his job perfectly all in a whole. I don't know. I'm just going off of what I've seen in social media. I wanted to get a quick video out with you guys and discuss and see where your head's at with that, because it got really, really interesting. Who would have thought we would have had a kicking drama going on this Sunday and Monday leading into this week? I thought it would be quiet, and we would be mad at special teams still, and everyone would still be on Harrison Butker's head. But I'm thankful Dustin Colquitt came in and actually mentioned it, because he is right. At the end of the day, we need to start treating special teams as a unit in whole, like we do with the offense and defense, because they still trot out 11 players out there. So if someone doesn't do their job correctly, it can all fail. But Chiefs Kingdom, I'm going to be signing off. You let me know how you're feeling about this. If there is something to this where maybe it's not Harrison Butker just missing kicks, maybe Tommy Townsend isn't holding it correctly, or you just feel Butker is washed and we need a new kicker. Dive in the comments. Let's discuss. Let's have fun. I'll be checking with y'all shortly, but before I do check out, subscribe to the channel. Give me that big thumbs up if you like this video. I'll check back in with y'all. Y'all take care. Peace.